CPU, the central processing unit, does most of the actual thinking in a computer, which is a lot of pressure for something smaller than a coaster. High-end chips from Intel and AMD pack in more cores, higher clock speeds, and bigger cache memory, letting them chew through heavy tasks like video rendering without breaking a sweat, even though sweating is not really something silicon does. The price climbs because squeezing more transistors into a tighter space while keeping the whole thing from turning into a tiny space heater gets exponentially harder near the top. These chips trace back decades to the early race for faster computing, but today's flagship models exist mainly for people who consider waiting 30 extra seconds for a task to finish a personal insult.
GPU. The graphics processing unit renders everything a computer shows on screen, and somewhere along the way, it also became the most sought-after chip on the planet. What separates a premium GPU from a bargain one is the number of processing cores packed inside, along with faster and more generous memory. Cards built for high-end gaming or professional design need to push millions of pixels a second while juggling lighting and shadows, which is a lot to ask of something plugged into the same outlet as a toaster. Lately, artificial intelligence research has piled onto the demand, since the same hardware that renders game worlds is also great at training machine learning models, which has done wonders for prices and nothing for anyone's wallet. NVIDIA and AMD battle it out at this tier, and the cost reflects both genuine engineering complexity and the fact that seemingly everyone wants one at the same time.
RAM. Random access memory is where a computer keeps the things it needs close at hand, like a very organized desk that resets itself every time you turn the lights off. Premium kits move larger amounts of data faster, letting a system juggle enormous files or several demanding programs without stuttering, which matters a great deal to video editors and engineers, and considerably less to someone with 40 browser tabs open out of habit. The expense comes from tighter manufacturing tolerances, since faster chips need to be calibrated with a precision that borders on obsessive. Some premium kits even come with elaborate cooling fins, because apparently even memory sticks need to look intimidating now. Each new generation of memory arrives faster than the last, and as always, being first to the party costs extra.
MotherBoard. The motherboard holds every other component together, quietly doing the unglamorous job of making sure nothing catches fire. High-end versions support faster memory, more storage drives, and stronger power delivery for demanding processors, while tossing in extras like better networking, because apparently a good board also wants to be your Wi-Fi router's best friend. Manufacturers use sturdier capacitors and more careful circuit design to keep things stable under heavy, prolonged use, which sounds boring until your cheaper board decides to have a meltdown mid-project. Since everything else in the system depends on it, a motherboard's quality shapes how reliable and future-proof a build turns out to be, which is why serious builders treat a good one less like a purchase and more like an investment in their own sanity.
Storage drive. Solid-state drives, especially the fastest NVMe models, have quietly become one of the pricier surprises in a high-end build. These drives use flash memory arranged to read and write data at blistering speeds, shrinking load times down to the point where you barely have time to reach for your coffee. The priciest versions use enterprise-grade components built to survive constant heavy use without wearing out, along with generous storage for people hoarding raw video footage or massive data sets, which is most creative professionals and a suspicious number of hobbyists. Prices rise sharply with speed and durability, since faster chips and smarter controllers don't come cheap. What used to be a luxury upgrade for enthusiasts is now something almost everyone quietly insists they need.
Power supply unit. The power supply looks like a plain metal box, which is exactly the kind of false modesty that gets people into trouble when they try to cut corners on it. A high-quality one delivers clean, stable electricity to every other part without hiccups, using better internal components and tighter voltage regulation so less energy gets wasted as heat.
In a system packed with power-hungry processors and graphics cards, a weak power supply can cause instability or, in dramatic cases, take other components down with it, which is a plot twist nobody wants. The cost of a top-tier unit comes from rigorous testing, certification, and sturdier construction meant to last for years without complaint. It rarely gets any glory, yet experienced builders treat it like the responsible adult of the entire setup.
Cooling system. Keeping a powerful computer from overheating takes more than one sad little fan spinning valiantly in the corner. Premium cooling ranges from oversized air coolers to elaborate custom liquid loops using bigger heat sinks, quieter fans, or circulating liquid to haul heat away so components can keep running fast without slowing themselves down out of self-preservation. Custom loops in particular demand carefully chosen tubing, pumps, and radiators, all assembled by hand, which adds cost in both parts and patience. Enthusiasts pour money into these setups because heat is often the real ceiling on performance, so better cooling can translate directly into better results, and also into bragging rights. What started as a trick for extreme overclockers has slowly become a mainstream flex.
Monitor. A display built for serious work or gaming carries a very different price tag than the screen currently gathering dust in a spare room drawer. High-end panels use advanced display technology for richer, more accurate color, which matters enormously to photographers and video editors who need what they see to actually match what they get. Gaming monitors, instead, chase extremely high refresh rates and quick response times, so fast motion looks smooth instead of smeared, which competitive players treat as a matter of mere religious importance. Manufacturing these panels with fewer defects and tighter quality control adds real cost, especially as sizes grow. As display technology has advanced, the gap between an ordinary monitor and a premium one has become the kind of thing you can't unsee once someone points it out.
Now you know what's actually driving the price tag on a high-end build, and hopefully you feel slightly less confused and slightly more broke. If there's one part here you defend with your life, or one you think is a scam dressed up in RGB lighting, drop it in the comments. And if this saved you from overspending on the wrong part, a like helps more than you'd think. Subscribe too, unless you enjoy learning about power supplies the hard way.